What's up, chat? I made a game, and you can play it right now by scanning the QR codes on screen. There's a free version and a paid version on Steam. This is PlanckMan, a small green square that stands 10 blocks high. And this is food, a juicy red pellet. As you move PlanckMan around the screen, he leaves a tail behind, equal to the height he was when he was on the tile. Now yellow pellets are super good. They increase PlanckMan's height by 1 and increase your score multiplier by 1x. So, give it a go and see how high you can get, but the Steam version has a few more options for you to play with, such as custom colors, sound effects, the ability to set and save a custom resolution, and saving your high score. And buying it on Steam will also support me and my content and my creations. It costs $1.99, or the equivalent in your area, and it's available now!
Buy PlanckMan today and get access to exclusive features in the Steam version, or play online for free at PlanckMan.com. Available wherever Steam sells games or wherever you have a web browser.
With all that aside, you know what I would love to do? Because this is like a 1980s retro video game aesthetic, what I would like to do is create a mini arcade machine so I can play PlanckMan in its own little setting. No. Well, because I want to. Because I think it would be cool for PlanckMan to have its own arcade machine. And that's what I'm going to do. Now. Over there. Behind this green screen. Where my work area is. Ooh. Now you may be wondering, what's the base of this arcade machine going to be? Well, I went digging in a ditch and I found this horrible piece of garbage. This is the Asus L410MA. I featured this in my stuff before. This should be able to run my game. Seemed as though it's only a light game, really, you know, just a small little retro arcade game. I'm going to give it a clean though. Let's have a paintbrush. It doesn't really bother me the keys, mind, because the keys won't be seen in this. Oh, there's the specs. There's a Pentium Silver N5030 with terrible graphics, 4 gigs of DDR4, and a 64GB eMMC, which is sold as an SSD. Good work, Asus. So while this is playing up, I don't even know what it's doing. I'm going to get the other hardware sorted. This is the Raspberry Pi Pico. It's just a tiny little microcomputer. Let me just snip it open. And this is basically going to just be a keyboard. That's all I'm going to use it for. A nice, simple keyboard. I am going to need some switches for this keyboard. And Gateron whites. I don't want Gateron whites. These are... I'm not sure. If I find it, I'll put an image on screen. They are very tactile. I think I have 4 of those. I only have 3 because I used one in my 8% keyboard. This video is lovingly sponsored by PCBWay. Did you see that little keyboard I just showed? Well, I produced that with the help of PCBWay.com and their most excellent services. Yes, I've worked with them before, and it really is so easy to get 3D prints printed and printed circuit boards made with excellent turnarounds and a fantastic QC. So it's like this. Say you've got this 3D model, but you want it to be a real thing that you can hold in your real hands. Well, just go here, here, and simple. You'll get updates all along the way of the process, and it really is hassle-free. There's so many materials to choose from, different colors, and they even sell tools and accessories. And they're professionals. They know what they're doing. And for this current project, I will be 3D printing myself. And my 3D printed files will be available on my website. So, if you want to 3D print those for yourself, check them out at PCBWay.com. or head into the description of this video for a clickable linkicle. So we'll have those 4 for up, down, left and right. So yes, while I would normally use Gateron whites for a project, they are very light and we don't want that for an arcade machine. Let's do some wiring. Alexa, shut the f*** up! Right, we don't need to wire anything on these because we're going to be using these. And these are hot swap ports for keyboard switches. So basically you put these where you want and then the keyboard switch slots in to the top like so, and then you can just solder onto these as you wish, which means I'll need some wires. 1, 2, and I'll bring over my awful solder tray. It's not awful, but it's starting to get a bit messy. My lovely gas powered soldering iron, which I am really falling in love with slowly. Strip you.
Hi there, I'm Cortana.
Are you?
And I'm here to help.
I don't want your help.
A little.
I think she heard me.
Sit back and relax while we work our magic.
I'm busy working my own magic, thank you.
Type your email address or phone number, then follow the instructions to sign in.
Skip.
I'll catch up with you once that's done.
Skip. Ignore. Go away. We will need a solder later, but those are our 5 switches. The 2 keyboard pins at the bottom just slot in there, like so. And that way I don't have to solder to the switches themselves and I can change them out later.
Next, choose whether or not you want to help Microsoft.
Why
and
is
if
this?
you want to help improve language recognition.
Soldering's done. From the instructions I'm reading, I'm going to have to download something called CircuitPython, which apparently just lets me use this as a little keyboard. So I'm going to do that. To program the Raspberry Pi Pico, it was as simple as downloading the CircuitPython files and then dragging them over to the Pico itself, while holding down the boot cell button. Then using this GitHub Adafruit repository, copying that to the library folder within the Pico, and creating a file for the CircuitPython firmware to read from, with instructions on what to send when signals are received from across the appropriate pins. The Raspberry Pi Pico has been programmed, and I've confirmed that the up key works. I believe that the rest of the keys are going to work. If focus could actually focus on what I'm showing instead of showing the rest of the desk where nothing is. So what I'm going to do is insert the pins from each of the wires and basically just solder in the pins in place. I could, if I wanted to, merge all the ground pins into one, but the Pico has enough ground pins where I don't have to worry about silly things like that. I only need 5 grounds. So how are you today? Are you well? If you're not well, be well. There's nothing holding you back other than yourself. I don't know if that's good advice. Just do the best you can, and if that's not good enough, at least you tried. Or as Tomato Aina says, no feeling is final, right? Let's be real. That's a decent kiss. Let's hope I don't connect it with this kiss. And that's my keyboard switch. Little thing done. Yes. I'm going to snip these off. That was my miniature smoke alarm saying move to fresh air. So yeah, be careful if you've got a gas power soldering iron, because it can set smoke alarms off. Thank you, Kit, and thank you, Golden Power Batteries. I've opened my window now, so I can't really do much, but I put that back up there. Honestly, I do normally solder with my windows open, I just forgot this time. So, yeah. Let's snip these legs off. That's what I was doing. I'm going to get this laptop now and open the laptop. No, please, should I just use the internet? So yeah, you may think I'm stupid for not having some kind of fume hood. Unfortunately, it's outside of my budget right now. But sun protection is always wise. So. Am I pressing a key? Just had to do some minor debugging. I don't know what was wrong, but I just had to basically resolder this, and I just put the wires straight into it now, just to make it a little bit more easier to find out what was wrong. I think the little pin things were possibly touching underneath and I couldn't see them. Maybe? I don't know for sure. But I used my pine saw. I love these. I love the pine saw, but the USB connection on the end, it just becomes loose after a while. In there is just lots and lots of blue tech. I'm hoping now that my debug solution has worked. Right, as we've still got the game open, let's save the current resolution. Nice. And then let's put this in. Micro USB is always a bit of a pain. And then play. And then purple is up, blue and green is down. So let's try going down. Lovely. That was difficult, man. Well, it shouldn't have been difficult. I thought something was wrong with the code. There was nothing wrong with the code. It was just I like this, but obviously it's either for short-term use or for bigger projects. Yeah, so be careful with those. If you know of any good little things to do with these little ends, let me know. Otherwise they're going in the bin. Slash recycling. Right, ignore the buzzing to the left of me because I got my fan on. So this is the reset switch. So I'll reset. And there I want to go right to play my game. There's right. So I'll go right, 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 right. And then I want to go down. That's left. That's up. I've had to label them, otherwise I wouldn't know which one's which. And there's down. Just little switches. And now I'm going to turn this into an arcade machine, but I don't know how I'm going to do that yet. So I don't know if this is going to work, but I designed some 3D printed keycaps. I already had this keycap design plug thing designed from previous projects. Just leveling the bed now, and hopefully the PLA that I haven't used in a very long time is going to be good enough and doesn't snap. But we'll see. We'll see. I always get scared printing circles. They don't adhere well to the bed and they end up peeling off, but this should only take 3 minutes, it says. So we'll see. Also, hi Corvus. Still going strong, still going strong. Well, it came out well. Perhaps a little thin. Maybe I'll thicken it up. Round 2, let's take a look. Oh yes, that's much better. That's much better. I think I'm onto something here. Look at that. But that is meaning I am going to replace the reset button with this switch, which is, as you can see, it works fine. It's still clicky, still nice. But yeah. Cool. I'm going to try something I already have in my supplies. Some acrylic green paint. We're just going to ignore this little bit of plastic that fell off. And I'll leave them overnight and see what I get. Yeah. I think they look fantastic. Especially the red. The greens not so much. The greens don't come out that well. But after some wear and tear, I'm sure they'll look absolutely beautiful. And when they're all on display, of course. So it's the next day, and these buttons have, I think they've come out decently enough. So now it's time to work on the housing. Staying organised is a really big thing when you're doing projects. Just make sure if I did print something that it would fit on my bed. That's a quandary. Now I also had the idea of just using a photo frame, which could still work, but I wouldn't know how, just eyeballing this, if I was managed to be able to make this flush to the top of there, would that still have enough clearance? I'm gonna go with this idea. This idea seems good, because what I'm going to do, yes, this is going to work, this is going to work. Watch what happens next. You won't believe what happens next. This is going to work. Welcome to a dinner tray I bought at the charity shop for 50 pence. Not intended for direct food contact. Lovely. I can put that over there, and I can then bolt that to the top of this photo frame. Because that, honestly, I don't know if laptop manufacturers intended this or not, but the photo frame A4, top to bottom, is a perfect size for the laptop. I'll give it a bit of room around the edge. That way I can just sand it down later and make it nice and flush. And for 50 pence, I mean, come on. Thrifting. Alright, let's make sure I'm steady on this. Sorted. Me, that was difficult. Right, I'm gonna wash my hands. Is this glass or plastic or what is it? I might keep it for another project. Yeah, so you can go behind there and I'll use you in the future for something. How about that? Sound good? Then these are usually used for 3D printing. You'd normally get them really hot and then melt them in. But I'm just going to use them for this. The main idea I have in my head of mounting these to this is just drilling a hole in this, then creating a 3D printed keyboard mount which goes in the hole, and that will give a perfect square, is what I think I'm going to be doing. Let's use my PCBWay rulers here. Right. 4 and a bit. 4 and a bit. Oh, I'm good. I need to make a hole now in this that's bigger than the square of that. So, first time using this hole saw. Oh, well that was timing. Let's put that on charge then, and I'll come back later. Oh well, that went worse than I could have imagined. That went a lot worse than I could have imagined. But there we go, never mind. We'll glue that together still. Hot glue will fix that. Hot glue fixes everything. No, that'll just make things a lot worse. Right, I know what I did wrong though. I've learned a lesson here, which is very valuable. Next time use it on a bit of wood. I'm wondering if this is salvageable or if it's not. Yes, that's the lesson I learned. In the interim, while I was waiting for the drill to charge, I 3D printed these, which are just little plugs that go on the top and are 32mm, so they should fit perfectly. So yes, I may have to redesign these so that the inner circle is a bit smaller. Right, so I've redesigned this little bit because obviously I need the inner ring to be a smaller diameter. And I've got a glue gun to glue it from the back end to be even easier to hide any blemishes. Right, and that should be good for now. And let's see how well this covers this damage, if it fits the hole, which it should do now, because it's another 2mm smaller. Fits in that one, fits in that one, fits in that one, fits in that one, doesn't fit in that one. You won't notice any of these cracks once it's spray painted, I keep telling myself. You gotta tell yourself these things, right? Right, so let me print another 5 of these and we'll go from there. But these are the little nubbin things that are going to fill the holes, which don't look too bad. They actually look quite good. I'm quite happy with those. Although I'm gonna have to do some amazing post-production on this video because this 3D printer is just loud. But obviously I want to work and I don't wait for printers to finish printing before I work. So yes, this is just me learning how to do things really. Make sure to like and subscribe because I'm sure some of the things I've learned may be very valuable to one in the future. I don't know. I know some hardware hackers don't like glue guns, but it does make it a little bit messy and people do go overboard with it, such as myself. Right, that's all the hot glue I'm using for the moment. I'm gonna let this all dry and do whatever.
Let's go shopping.
No problem.
So it's one trip to what? One stop at Block and Quail. Make that 2 trips to what? Because the sandpaper here is cheaper. And a small stop for a random product review. Join my YouTube members to watch all the mini episodes. Right, so they say never buy a tool unless you need one. And I need one. So I bought a tool. B&Q's Finest, apparently it's their own brand. No idea why I'm doing that. Loading sandpaper. Loading sandpaper. And that's the sandpaper it came with, but like I said, I went to Watt twice. There's your fine for $2.40. I'm just gonna go massive heavy at the 60s. Will this work? Nose. Ah, that falls over there. And that falls. I got you, I got you. There we go. Let's put my face mask on. I'm just gonna steam up my glasses, so I'm probably gonna have to take my glasses off. How do I look? This is my COVID fit. Let's have a go. It's rough now, obviously, because I've used the 240 grip, but once that's 60 over the top of that, that should be nice and smooth. So that's one side done. Oh, and I also made a Raspberry Pi mount and a cable mount to the wires, and I put this at the bottom, which you'll see later, to mount it to the laptop better, produce a finer finish. Would help if I put the other clamp on. Dust bag fell off. That's interesting. These clamps ain't working out too well. I'm gonna try a different approach. Let's see what we can do. I'm determined to get the last of the life out of this last bit of sandpaper. Well, I got more sandpaper, but I don't want to change it for this one last bit. You get me? Nice. Alright, that's my 60s done. Now what I want to do, I only want to sand the front because I'm going to be spray painting it, and I may go over this with 60s. Depends how much I can be bothered. What's my phone doing? Oh, I've been doing this for an hour. Like that. Kick, drum, snare, 808 and a hi-hat. Both bits sampled, I like that. Bosh. I think that's the sanding done. Time for the paint. I know I said I painted the buttons already, but these were too cheap. So all I've done, I'll show you what I've done. So on a toothpick, I've stuck a bit of blue tack, stuck the button on top. And then this, I made a sort of tripod thing out of cardboard and tape. And I'm actually not going cheap, I'm actually going to be priming here as well. But I want this to look good. For my new video game, out now. Don't forget. And then after, we got some tough stuff enamel, which should make a shine. I'm not going to prime these because I've already painted them. So. I read in a Disney magazine once that these contain marbles and you should pop them. You shouldn't. It's very dangerous. But if you wanted marbles, they said you can break these open, and I was like, oh my goodness, that looks beautiful. Clear nozzle after a bit of car spray for 3 seconds. I will say this is my first time spray painting almost anything. I can't recollect anything I've spray painted before. Watch out, babes! I wasn't going to hear that. It's alright, let me pause. I'm filming a YouTube video for my channel at the moment. Right, the sun's dying a bit down, and I forgot my microphone. But I'm going to give this one coat of black paint, and then take it back upstairs just in case the weather deteriorates. It's not perfect, but our first go at saying it's pretty good. So we're back here again, are we? Better move this to one side. The laptop developed a fault. The battery has died. I don't know why it could have died, but it has. But this, I don't want to see her anymore, you know? But yeah, so I've just removed it, and now it's wall plug only. I guess I could replace this if I wanted to. I don't see the need because it's just a standalone unit. Right, let's go get the board and finish off the last final touches. Hey. It's not perfect, as you can tell. Definitely learned some things, but I think in the right light, it'll look good. If I turn this off, kind of looks better. Yes, I could have definitely done a better job, but I don't know what I'm doing with regards to it. So for first go, looks alright. And the way this is going to stay secure on the laptop is this USB port just slots in there like that, nice and firm, and the HDMI one slots in there as well, nice and firm. We're going to be screwing and bolting them in. See, there's very little give. Oh, and also it also perfectly fits with the 3D printed like sort of underneath laptop clamp as well. It fits perfectly there. Lovely. No matter how much room I give myself, I always seem to be running out of room. Does it fit? Does it hold in place? So much dust here. I need to de-dust. I'm trying to show the fact that it's just staying on without me holding on to it, but that's very hard to show. But yeah. I don't want to use this workstation covered in dust and stuff, so I'm going to give her a quick clean. Right, so let's put the keyboard switches in. I may have to use a knife to rescore the holes, but I don't know. We're very close now for it to being finished. Finished. Another advantage of this lip is that it hides the wires underneath the lip as well, which is nice. And a little knot there. Retention knot, I believe it's called, perhaps not, to stop it from being able to be pulled out. Now let's attach it to the board and see if it goes on or not. Alexa, shut the f*** up! I didn't f***ing talk to you. You gonna work? And if I've done this correctly, the game should automatically load. Lovely. I'm really happy with these this mount solution. Unfortunately on camera that still looks terrible. In real life it doesn't. So, anyway, buttons. Hopefully these will change the appearance of the game as a whole. They feel nice, the keys, the switches. So let's do a few finishing touches, shall we? First, let's debrand the laptop. So it's no longer Asus, but it's BR3i. That's nice. And then this Asus label down here I want gone as well. So what I'm going to do is I have my business cards which I hand out to people who I talk to about my channel, IRL. Has this switched itself off? Oh, it's gone to sleep. I have to disable sleep mode on the laptop. Very nice. And also, so I found these in Tesco for 50p a pack. So I thought, yeah, that could work quite well. And I'm going to attach that with Velcro. And then we'll position these, one there. One there. Let's see if that works. Yes. Yes. This laptop is still terrible though. It does lag sometimes playing this game. And I've installed a lighter version of Windows onto it. like. I was just talking to my neighbour, and he had a go. Well, he had a few goes, actually. And he gave me what I was looking for. Now I'm going to try this. I've never tried it before. It's vinyl wrap. I'm going to see if I can do this. Let's have a go. I don't know how stretchy the material is, because I'm thinking I may have to cut around the surface. Let's see how much we got. The soft adhesive for the radio sticks all smooth, dry and ductless surfaces, best by room temperature. Sand down rough wood surfaces, brighter stick and plastic chocolate. Oh, I'll be able to heat gun it down onto these and it would contract, potentially. Nice. Right, let's see what I can do about the sides. Welcome back. It's like wrapping a present. It really is. There we go. Now the instructions say to let it sit for a while. So I'm going to let it sit for a while. Alright, so I guess it's time for the heat gun. It's been sat for a while. I don't even know if this is going to work. I've done a brief bit of research and apparently it does. And hope for the best. Heat gun. So I'm just going to go over it with the lowest setting, number 1 of 2, and then press down with the rag, soft rag, and let's hope. It does heat up very quickly, but it is going well. The top edges and the screw... Turn this off. The top edges and the screw ports are done, as is the reset button, which came out fantastic. Now it's to see how these come out. That looks a lot better than what it did, in my opinion. Can you see through there? You can see through there. I can't see through there. I can't see through there. Not in real life. Huh. I invented invisibility cloak. Right, so to get these key switches in, I'm going to... well, allow it to cool down for a moment. And they're in. And that looks a million times better than what it did. The little legs. I'm still very, very happy with this solution that I came up with. Absolutely happy. I think that was really clever of me, if I do say so myself. Why are these stuck together? What the hell was that? Why did you do that? You've just been sat over there. You've been doing nothing. I've been using you all day. There's always something right at the very end. Right, I'm going to 3D print new buttons. Right, so before I show you the finished product, let's go over a few things that I've done in the interim. Kind of. I've got rid of Windows. I've got rid of Windows entirely from this laptop. Now, don't buy this laptop. They're still selling them. £220 brand new. Scam. Stay away. Just throw it in the bin. Now, this game, it's very, very light. So now it's running Lubuntu. And it has a little script that loads the game immediately. It's very light. I haven't noticed any lagging issues. So that's good. Some errors I made along the way. Drilling holes into plastic should be done on a plank of wood that you can also drill into, and the plastic should be more firmly attached to the wood than just your hand. The last point not so much, but it would make things easier. Spray painting. I need more practice spray painting. If I'd have just skipped the spray painting, then I'd have got on a lot better and had a better thing. Vinyl wrap before you start attaching things to the board. So you want the board to be as flat as possible. Unfortunately, I put the Keycap Nubbins, which I'm just calling them Nubbins, into the top first and glued them down. Don't be so quick to jump to the glue gun. The glue gun worked great, but because I filled in some of the side with the glue gun, when it came to sanding, the glue kind of like got really hot and melty. It wasn't impossible to sand it off, and it did finish the sides to a smooth finish with the sander. One unfortunate thing about the battery being dead now is that I can't just leave the laptop on. It has to be turned on every time I want to use it. Always remember, if you're undertaking any project, there is no success without failure. You have to make mistakes. You don't have to make mistakes, but when they happen, make sure to learn from them, because otherwise they can just eat you up and you will never grow. And next time you do it, it'll be different and it'll be better. Don't forget, PlanckMan is out now. Scan the QR codes on screen to play. And let's see what this arcade machine looks like. Like and subscribe.